Hey, Guru Nation, welcome back to the clinicaltrialsguru.com. I've got a CRA Academy graduate, Gazelle, on. Gazelle, give us a little bit of your background, and then I'll fill in some of the blanks.
Let's see. What can I say? I am an ex-OR nurse. I've done not trials, but I've done research. I'd say 15 years as a coordinator. Went to your school, got hired pretty much a couple months later.
Yeah, and you're one of the ones that got hired right away. So I'm certain that it's your nursing background and the fact that you were a coordinator for 15 years that you got hired. I mean, you got hired as a CRA 1, right?
Yes.
And what was the interview process like?
I was fortunate enough to know someone who worked in the field and for the company.
Okay.
And so she gave my resume directly to, I believe, her manager or someone in HR. And that was right before Christmas. And within a week, I got hired.
Wow, yeah, I remember when you were doing it. It was quick. And since then, so how long have you been there? You've been there for about a year now?
About 8 months. Oh, no, wait.
8 months.
It's just, 8 months.
Because you were in our, June 2016 Academy?
Yes. I think I was your second or third class.
We had April, May, to June. Oh, you were in our July Academy, 2016 in July. Okay. We had a couple students get hired from there. So you had the background, you had the nursing degree. What were your expectations of being a CRA prior to actually doing it?
My expectations, I wanted to travel. And yes, I do a lot of traveling. I get to see how other sites do things compared to the sites that I used to work at as a coordinator. You see the faults, you see the pluses, you see the minuses. But if you go along with your CRO's SOPs, you'll do fine.
And so, are you traveling more than you thought you would? Are they sending you coast to coast? Are they being respectful of your, the fact that you're a human being? And are you expected to be like on the other side of the country in one day and then come back the next day for back-to-back visits? Or like how does that work out? How do the dynamics work? Because I know what it's like being a contract CRA for a small CRO, but I've never worked for a large CRO. So how do they treat employees?
So far, I only had to travel from coast to coast about the first 3 months of being hired. Since then, I pretty much stay in California. The furthest I've had to fly out since March, I'd say, is Idaho.
Okay, good. I'm sure that saves cost for them as well, keeping you regional, right?
Yep.
Now, what is the org structure like? Who do you report to? And then who do you go to for, let's say, if you have an issue? Because you're a W-2 employee, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm assuming you have a line manager. This would be your lead CRA, correct?
Correct.
Is that the primary person you interact with, or do you also go to the project manager? Do you deal with the medical monitors? Do you have HR?
I basically just deal with my line managers, and there's about 3 of them that I report to.
Okay. And as far as your workload, how many sites do you have? How many studies?
I am on one giant study that's been going on for a couple years, and I have 17 sites in just one study.
17, all in California and one in Idaho?
Well, no, I have 2 in Washington, 2 in Idaho, and the rest are in California.
Okay. And so are you on the road like in let's take a given month. The 17 sites, are you on the road like are you on site 17 days out of every month?
A little bit, yeah.
Would that be like average or are you on the road more than that?
I'm on the road for the month of July. I would say I was on the road 12 days out of the week.
12 days out of the month?
I mean, out of the month.
It seems like 12 days out of the week, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now do you think you could have gotten hired, and you can tell the truth, without the CRA Academy? Do you think you could have gotten this job?
No, I don't think so.
And why? What? Because you have a good background. I mean, I would say yes, you could. Like, if I didn't know you, I knew you before you joined the academy. We had some
Mhm.
interactions from, I mean, you were one of the original viewers back in the day on my YouTube channel. But if you were someone that just called me today and gave me your background, I would just tell you, you know what, you can do the CRA Academy. It's going to help a little, but I think you can do it on your own. I mean, that's the same advice I think I would give you. But why do you think it helped you?
With your academy, you did have other CRAs who have a lot of experience teaching us. And when I joined this one study, it was not very structured. So with your guidance, when we had our classes, things made more sense since we didn't have like a book to go to see how to do things or how things are done. I just relied on what I learned from your classes.
Okay, so it was definitely it gave you um, practical tools that you can use once you got hired.
Correct.
Okay, and how do you like being a CRA compared to being a study coordinator or a OR nurse? How would you compare the 3 different jobs that you've had?
I actually like the CRA work better. For one,
And why?
I get to stay home more often. I get to work from home. But when I have to do my visits, then yes, I fly out or I drive out. Um, it's kind of funny when you go out to the sites, you feel as though everyone's scared of you.
Yeah,
You've got a
everyone's
little
on their
bit of
best
power.
behavior. Everyone's on their best behavior when you're there because you're the CRA. I mean, I see it from both sides. I occasionally go have my site visits as a CRA twice a quarter, so it's not really that often. But when I do, I feel like, hey, I'm actually more accustomed to being on your side of the things as the site director, study coordinator. But I do get that vibe as well. That everyone's on their best behavior. Maybe they're scared. You say they're scared.
They see. It's funny because when they walk, well, when I'm in a room that they put me in, sometimes it's a closet, sometimes it's not. When they walk by, they don't even look at you because if you make eye contact, or if they make eye contact with me, they're like, "Oh my god, what's she gonna say? What do I have?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, bring me this document now.
Yep.
Okay, so there's definitely a healthy respect for CRAs. I could see that. Um, After a while, from the site level, once we get to know our CRAs, there's different personality types.
Oh yeah.
Chris and I kind of went through it, but you get to know who they are, and then you either decide whether you want to interact with them or you don't. There's some that I don't interact with because I know that's a bad idea for those monitors, and there's some that I interact with a lot. I mean,
Mhm.
almost like too friendly. Um, so it really depends on the type of monitor that you are. What kind of monitor are you? Are you more of the business type that just goes in and gets the job done? Are you a friendly one? Are you a evil monitor? What kind of monitor are you?
I'm a friendly one. I go into the room, I look through their ISF, compare it to our spreadsheets. At the moment, we don't carry wet docs with us, so I have a scanner. I do my own thing. I'm pretty self-sufficient. I'm the nice one. and I
You're
try
the
to help
nice
out a little bit.
one. So you said you carry a scanner because you don't have what?
We don't send out wet docs.
Oh, so you don't, like, when you're collecting essential documents at the
Yeah.
site? Now, are you only collecting those at the site initiation visit, right? You're supposed to collect the reg docs.
Well, the caseload that I have right now, we're doing closeout visits.
Okay.
So
So
if I
for
end up carrying wet documents, I will just scan them
hmm
directly to the CRO, and it helps with the weight of my bag because
ah
a couple times you come home with at least 2 pounds of paper. You got your
right.
laptop, got your scanner, then you got your luggage.
Keep the digital copy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny. My first SIV I ever did. So I'm learning how to be a CRA for my own CRO as we're starting to get projects. I'm going to be the one doing the monitoring for the most part. So I had to learn how to do it. So I got a bunch of contract gigs and I'm learning. But my first SIV I ever did as a CRA, I forgot to collect the regulatory documents. And then my line manager, she's like, okay, thanks for the report. Also scan me the reg docs or the essential documents.
Yeah.
I was like, oh crap. So I actually had to contact the site. Luckily, they sent it to me. But yeah, I almost forgot, or I did forget. And so at closeout visit, because I've never actually done a closeout visit, you collect the documents as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what about IMVs? Do you ever collect anything there at an IMV?
I have not yet to do an IMV.
Oh, you have not yet to do one. Okay, I'm doing one Monday.
Oh.
Yeah, so hopefully I don't have to collect anything because I'm probably not going to remember.
Get a
I
Post-it.
don't. Yeah, I'm going to ask one of our teachers, Brenda. I'm going to ask her if she collects anything. That's one of the benefits of having the CRA Academies. You can ask these instructors, "Hey, what do I do here? How do I handle this situation?" Good, Gazelle. So, what are your plan? What are your? There's a lot of consolidation going on right now, and
Right.
we're not going to mention who you work for, but there's like a handful of big players, and you're with one of them, and so mergers are going on with everyone. Like, are you experiencing any of that fallout? And what do you think is going to happen in 5 years? Like, where do you see the industry headed?
I haven't felt any crunches yet.
Okay.
So, in 5 years,
Do you want to be a lead CRA?
with this study, no.
Okay. I know what you're talking about because the project manager on my last study, where I was a CRA, I had to resign because I just get too busy. I have so much respect for project managers now. The guy was doing 14 studies. He's the first person the sponsors call when there's an issue. Generally, the first person the sites call when there's an issue with payments. The first person the CRAs contact when the lead CRA is not available. Like, I have no idea how this guy did this. You could not pay me enough to be a project manager. I think he was making about $85,000 a year, which you could not pay me enough. You couldn't pay me double that to do that, what he was doing. So I totally understand what you mean by that. So not a lead CRA for this study, but do you think you can be a lead CRA? Do you want to be a lead CRA?
I wouldn't mind.
And they typically don't travel very much unless they're training a new monitor, right?
Correct.
Okay. So when you had your first couple of visits, you had a co-monitoring visits?
Yes. They were all in the East Coast.
And how was that? Was that good? Was it stressful? How did that go?
Traveling to a different state for the first time was a little bit stressful. I thought California drivers were crazy.
Yeah.
East Coast is also a little different.
Yeah, you should. If you had a chance to go to Boston yet, I just came back from there, and they're horrible drivers.
Oh, I was in New York.
Wow, yeah. Almost as bad. I think Boston's worse.
Uh-oh.
Just because the streets are narrower and older. But But as far as your co-monitoring visits, were they stressful because your supervisor was there, or did you prefer that they come with you? How was that?
I preferred having my co-monitor there the first couple times. Only because, yes, they're looking over my shoulder, but they weren't hawks. They let me do my thing, and if they noticed I was missing something, they would kind of identify what I was missing, and I'd have to go find it.
Were
But
they literally sitting in the room with you, like 1 foot away, looking at what you're doing?
maybe not 1 foot, but they were in the same
A couple
room.
feet.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, interesting.
And so
All
if I
right.
had questions, at least they were there.
They were there, yeah. Utilize them while they're there. That's good, Gazelle. I'm glad you came on to do this interview. We're a year overdue.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll monitor one of our sites because we're in the same kind of therapeutic indication that you monitor, and we have 2 sites in Southern California. So maybe one of these next studies you'll be our monitor.
Ooh. Hopefully they don't get scared.
Yeah, me and Chris will get scared of you, Gazelle. Yeah, you were interning. I remember when you were interning at our site, you would come regularly because you live like a couple miles away. So that was a pretty good setup for us. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. It seems like you're enjoying it. And we'll definitely stay in touch, okay?
Yes.
Thank you, Gazelle, and thank you, everyone, for watching. And this is Dan from theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Take care.